I still have never fully embraced the killing of the younglings. But I guess at that point, he was already too far gone, and whatever Palpatine / Sidious told him he was going to do. And that meant every Jedi had to die. And he did it. But again, a brilliant moment for Lucas as a filmmaker is that as Anakin is walking, now he is Darth Vader. Which is amazing to see he's Darth Vader before the mask, before the armor. So cool. With his eyes changed like a Sith and a tear streaming down his face because he's gone too far. So remember, I said Lucas doesn't always like to get all that deep, and certainly he's not talking with his actors at length about capturing a particular moment, like a Scorsese or a Coppola or whoever, Tarantino. But he knows how to capture moments that make you feel something. He's always made you feel something. You felt the gut punch when Darth Vader revealed himself to be Luke's father. Cuts off his hand and then reveals that. You felt it. You felt something very strongly when Han and Leia really came together. You felt something when Darth Vader turns on the Emperor to save his son. Like, these were beautiful, emotive moments. Hell, okay. Han Solo, getting sent down in a carbonite. Leia, I love you. Han, I know. Just, come on. That's what I mean about, like, that relationship and that dialogue. It was so good. Anyway, so back to Revenge of the Sith. That final battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan is kind of what you always wanted to see. So that was part one of their battle that culminated in A New Hope when Darth Vader struck him down. That is such a far cry from those early lightsaber sequences. Even though I go back, and I will say this about Empire Strikes Back, some really nice stuff in that lightsaber battle, as well as in Return of the Jedi. But nothing like this. The scale of it, how epic and physical, athletic it was for the actors themselves. That was real combat for them. So I will give it to this, to Mr. Lucas. Revenge of the Sith is your magnum opus, dude. Well done. So my love for the prequels, I think, has been on clear display here tonight. So I'm just going to very quickly, because my focus has been on Obi Wan Kenobi. So the sequels, I will say that I think The Force Awakens was excellent. People say that it's almost a shot-for-shot remake of the original. I don't really agree with that necessarily, but they weren't the characters that I wanted to see. So because I read the books, you have the fact that Han and Leia did get married, and they had 3 children. They had the twins, Jason and Jaina, and their youngest, Anakin. So again, Jason, Jaina, Anakin, Solo. And Luke got married to Mara Jade, formerly the hand of the Emperor, the Emperor's hand, excuse me. And they have Ben Skywalker. I understand Disney's compulsion to create their own, but you could have taken those characters and still sold a gajillion dollars worth of merchandise with those pre-existing characters that to Lucas were canon. The fact that they just went ahead and threw all of that out, almost like throwing Lucas out, that's what bothered me about them. It was a different direction. But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy them. Because I did. And even in hindsight, Rian Johnson's weird decision-making in the characterization of Luke Skywalker, had it not been in the hands of someone as gifted as Mark Hamill, it wouldn't have worked. But I actually really enjoyed this characterization of Luke, acting in the same way, by the way, that Obi Wan did, that Yoda did. They literally went into hiding for 2 reasons. All the Jedi were looking to survive, first of all. Like, just purely survival instincts after Order 66. Oh, gosh. That's right. Order 66, Revenge of the Sith. Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking when all the clones turn. So well done. So, yeah, there's this self-preservation piece. So it's not all magnanimous and just doing it for the greater good. It's survival. But then for Yoda and Obi-Wan, they're looking to survive for Luke and for Leia. Like really just for them and their own, desire to not be cut to pieces by Inquisitors or Darth Vader, the Emperor. So it doesn't surprise me to characterize Luke as someone who would then go and disappear. Because when he's around, or Jedi are around, in theory, it can cause bad things to happen. Because now he's looked at his lifespan and looked at everything from his father's birth through his own life and failures to say that maybe there's something flawed about the Jedi. So I didn't really have a problem with it. Rise of Skywalker is the only Star Wars movie thus far that I've only seen once. I've seen everything. And Force Awakens, I watched a bunch of times, by the way. Last Jedi, I watched a bunch of times because I love Mark Hamill's performance. That was great. Everyone does great. Rise of Skywalker. Oh man, I don't know. I don't have much to offer on it just because I think it was just way off base. Now, it's not to say that in those books that I read, you didn't have the Emperor come back a couple of times. He did. But it was described and delivered in a way that made perfect sense. And it didn't get muddied with all the other stuff. I don't know. It was just, maybe I have to see it a time or two to embrace it. But really up till now, that's the one I can't really deal with. However, I really enjoyed Solo. And I do think that it got some bad press. I do think there were some things that were mischaracterized by people reading into things that weren't there. But I thought it was really fun. Aiden Ehrenreich. Not quite the swagger, but I mean, he did a pretty good job. And you put him next to the Wookiee and, it was a fun movie. And I thought that Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian was excellent. I thought it was excellent. So I don't hate Solo. Pretty fun. Huge cliffhanger of Darth Maul, which again doesn't get fully fleshed out, unfortunately, because it didn't get a sequel. I don't know. I just think it's silly. And then finally, Rogue One. I love Rogue One. It doesn't really have, except for a few minutes, any of the legacy characters, right? It's just this ragtag group that have to get the plans for the Death Star. They have to find a way to win for the Alliance. Well, I guess it's not the Alliance, it's the Rebels. They're still the Rebels. Yeah, the Rebel Alliance. I thought it was great. Jyn Erso. You get Saw Gerrera. That's a little callback to the animated series as well. I really enjoyed Rogue One. And spoiler alert, and what I really love about Rogue One is that whenever someone asks me about a movie, I have, for the better part of 20 years, they said, hey, what's that movie about? I'm like, I don't know. Everyone dies. Everyone dies. It's so cool that everyone dies. Awful, right? But no, it's perfect. It's beautiful. Really great little piece of filmmaking. So, my Star Wars movies ranked. Are you ready? definitely going to be some hate for this. Number 1, Return of the Jedi. That's right, I said it. Badass Luke battling Jabba, battling Darth Vader, fighting with the Emperor, all of it. The Ewoks, all of it. Awesome. You get the redemption arc completed for Anakin Skywalker. It was already my favorite growing up, but then to see the whole story, even more so. Gotta love it. So number 2, I go back and forth. I'm not sure if it's my number 2, but it was for much of my life. So I'm going to leave it where it is. And that's Empire Strikes Back. It's not my favorite. Because at number 3, which could easily be my number 2, and my youngest son says his number 1, Revenge of the Sith. I love it. I love it. And it is the Obi Wan Kenobi show, man. I mean, it is. It's, he has the high ground. Number 4, A New Hope, the first Star Wars. Number 4? Are you crazy? Are you even Gen X? Yes, I am. And it's number 4. Number 5, The Force Awakens. Yeah. I really, really dug it. Did I wish they went in some different directions in the subsequent ones? Yeah, sure. But I really liked The Force Awakens. It was well done. And I thought that Kylo Ren was a great character. All of them, really. Number 6, Rogue One. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Number 7, The Phantom Menace. I could have put that higher, honestly. I could have put that, at or above Force Awakens. And maybe as I reassess this list probably annually anyway as I rewatch the movies. Phantom Menace, number 7. Number 8, Attack the Clones, which used to be at the bottom of my list. Attack the Clones for the longest time was at the bottom. But I have viewed it a little bit differently, probably in the past 3 to 5 years. Number 9, The Last Jedi. Yeah, I can't put it at the bottom, and it was better than I expected it to be. And while I don't exactly love how they culminated the story arc of Luke Skywalker, I really enjoyed Mark Hamill's performance. Number 10, Solo. Like I said, it's fun. Don't think too much about it. Totally rewatchable, but it's also disposable. So just fun. And then finally, number 11, and the most recent release, Rise of Skywalker. Ugh. It's rough, man. It's rough. Yeah, I guess I have to watch it again a couple times, really try to wrap my head around it. Maybe it's better than I give it credit for. There were some things I liked about it, but ultimately, it was a little rough. So anyway, I have watched the first 2 episodes of Obi Wan Kenobi. Now, there are no spoilers here, okay? I refuse to do that. And let me just say, Ewan McGregor, once again, steps right into the role so perfectly. But then at this period of time where his world, the galaxy in general, has been plunged into darkness. And he has this world weariness, and I'm sure you've all seen the trailers, but it's just etched in his face, this pain. And that's one of the things that throughout all of it, all the prequels, right? Episodes 1, 2, and 3. Here's a guy who's a Jedi, who's so skilled, who's so gifted. And he always has a quip. He always keeps it light. He's a fun guy. He's a fun Jedi. And I don't know, maybe Anakin needed a more stern teacher than the snarky wise ass that we've come to know Obi-Wan as. But